Hey guys, Slop Joe here. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2014. So I have broken into 2014. It is January 2nd. Yesterday was my birthday, and kind of as a birthday gift to myself and my first purchase of the new year, we have a new toy. So something we've all, or if you've been interested in them, you've probably YouTube searched them. Uh, Tanfoglio, imported by EAA. EAA is the importer out of Florida, and Tanfoglio is the manufacturer in Italy. And what we've got here is this actually pretty decent, kind of nice locking case that the pistols ship in. So that's kind of cool. But what's inside? And it is a Tanfoglio Witness Match or Elite Match, 10 millimeter, which is a round I don't own, have never shot, but I've wanted one for about 6 months. After doing some research about Glocks, trying to think who else makes 10 mil. I believe Colt does a 1911 variant. I know Rock Island Armory as well. They do 1911 10 mil, and they're in that five and a half, $500, $550 price range. This fell right into that same price range. I've seen where these retail for $600-700. I paid $550 for this, brand new in the box, plus taxes, of course. Luckily, I found it local, so that meant I avoided paying shipping and FFL transfer fees, as well as the sales tax. Here in Washington State, if you buy something out of state, you have to pay sales tax at the time of transfer. So finding it local meant I saved about $50 in a transfer fee and $25. So in shipping. So I probably saved $75 finding it local. So again, Witness Match, 15 plus 1 capacity. It says, I have heard of guys saying that they can only squeeze 14 rounds into the mag. So we'll see. It is empty. I don't have any rounds for it as of yet because I just picked it up today. Fit and finish is outstanding. I don't know if that's because it's the match model, which is a little bit a step up from the regular base models. But the fit and finish is very nice. The bluing on the slide, it seems to be maybe a little thin because you can see right where it rides inside the frame and the rails, you can see where it's a little discolored, and some of the bluing is rubbed off. And I haven't shot this gun yet. It's a brand new gun. So it might be that the bluing is just a little thin, we'll say. The bottom, this polished finish, it's polished along the side, polished and smooth, but along the bottom of the frame, it has not been smoothed over, and it's more of a matte finish. So you kind of get this contrast of a matte finish down here, polished on the side, and then just blued slide, which is actually, it looks really good. It's a really attractive looking weapon. As far as sights go, you have fixed front, no dot or anything, it's just a blade sight. And then you have a adjustable rear, which you can adjust for windage and elevation, which is cool. Skeletonized hammer. It's got a different trigger than you'd see on the base model, whereas the base model trigger has got a real aggressive curve to it. This is dramatically less curved, more flattened trigger. I believe factory sets these at 3.5 pounds. It is very light, very crisp. It doesn't take a lot of effort. Very nice take up. It's very predictable. It's very little take up right there. You can see where it stops, and then it snaps. Very clean snap, clean break. I like it. The other thing I noticed on the baser or the lesser model of the Witness line, the barrel is a little bit shorter than this. So if you look at this, the slide actually stops about there. It just sticks out past the frame to about there. So with this, you get maybe an extra ½ inch. Weight-wise, This comes in empty at 2.65 pounds. It is beefy. It's heavy. It's a heavy gun. It just is. I believe when fully loaded, I think we're just under 3 pounds. So it's got some heft to it. But I understand that these frames on the match model are beefed up to handle full power 10 millimeter, whereas some of the older models or some of the new models, the frames are not designed to handle full power 10 millimeter, but the match has the beefier frame, so this is supposedly able to handle that. It comes factory with an 18-pound spring, recoil spring. Talking to guys, they have said that switching out to a 22 is going to be ideal, but this will suffice, they say, to about 2,000 rounds, and then the spring is basically shot out and you're going to want to replace it. So I'm going to put a few hundred rounds through it, see how I like it, try out some different ammo, different loads, and just see how it feels, because I've never fired 10 millimeter before. I've just kind of thought about it, wanted it, and decided for a birthday gift to myself to pull the trigger and get one of these. So comparing it to its cousin, because this is based off of a CZ design, to me it feels like a CZ97, which is their 45 big frame gun. So it feels very similar to that. The only thing I have to compare it to, is this empty? Yes. So this is a CZ SP01, 9mm. So for comparison's sake, I'll show you, let's see if I can do this. So you can see a thickness comparison to the slides. The Witness is a little bit thicker. And now length is a big thing. I'm going to line these up so they're back to back. Now you can see the length of the EAA. I mean, it's even right at the beaver tails, but then if you look at the front, you can see it's quite a bit longer. Looking down at the top of the slides again, and then from underneath, I'll try to get this to where there we go. So you can see the thickness on the bottom of the frame is not dramatic, but it is definitely thicker. And then looking down at the front, I mean, you can see just how much bigger and beefier the slide is compared to a 9mm slide on the CZ. So it's girthier, it's bigger, it's fatter, it's heavier in every way. It's a beefy gun. So it's not a carry gun, that's for sure. It's probably not something when fully loaded you're going to carry every day. But to handle that 10 millimeter round, the extra heft, I'm sure, is going to be something that comes into play and going to be desired. So we'll see there. It's not ambidextrous. You only have 1911 style safety or a CZ style safety. It's only on one side. Then of course your slide stop. It takes down just like CZ. So you have right there, you have your little notches. So I like to half cock as always, and then you would just line up your marks. And I'm going to use the plastic bumper on the magazine. You take your pin out, slide comes off, and just like the CZ, slide rides along inside the frame. And beyond that, it takes down just like a CZ. So barrel, slide, your guide rod, full length metal guide rod, which is nice. And then one of the things I've heard guys talk about when they've received these pistols is they've been full of oil, machine oil, grease, crud, grime, and just needed a thorough cleaning before they could shoot it. And I'll show you the inside of this. I have not shot this, cleaned it, anything. This is fresh out of the box, never fired, and it is, except for just normal oil, I mean, it's beautiful in there. Yeah, there's the machine marks are clean. Not a lot of grease. Actually, there's no grease or grime. I've heard of guys saying that they found, shavings and stuff in there, but there's nothing to speak of like that in this pistol. I mean, this thing is just, it's beautiful. So, other than that, it all goes back together just as one would expect. Do that. Put the guide rod back in. The guide rod, because this is the first time I've disassembled this, it's a little bit more finicky than CZ because it's a longer and it's metal, and the stock CZ guide rod is plastic, so it flexes and gives and all that good stuff. And this is a little bit more of a bear. And again, I have not taken this pistol down before right now, so this is kind of a learning experience for everyone if you're thinking about getting into one of these. Oh man, it's kind of a chore, I gotta say that. I mean, unless I'm doing something really, really wrong, but I don't think I am. There it goes. Whew. And it just lines up just like that. So there's something we just learned together. That guide rod does not, because it's metal, there's no flex to it or anything. And it's here we go. It's that guide rod, getting it through that hole, you got to get it lined up perfectly and work it in there. There's no other way to describe that. Like I said, I have not taken this pistol down until right now, so maybe with some practice I'll figure out how to get that angle and everything just right. But as you can see, it's not as smooth as that CZ, and I'm not going to bother taking that CZ down. I could, but it's got a plastic guide rod and it flexes and bends a little bit, so it just, everything snaps together real easy. So there's something. Is that a big deal? No, especially if this thing is as accurate and runs as well as people have told me they run. So anyway, so this is night number 1. Have not shot it. I'm going to acquire some ammunition for it in the next day or two and get out to the range, put a couple hundred rounds through it, and I will be reporting back. So stay tuned for updates on this pistol and a full range review as far as how it handles, shoots, things I need to change out of the box from the factory. The trigger is adjustable. It's got a trigger bump stop right there. I don't see any reason to mess with that. Everything seems set up real nice. Again, the trigger is adjustable. It's set for 3.5 pounds. I'm going to leave it as is and just go run it. So the only thing I imagine I might need to change is just the adjustment on the sight. But other than that, I'm just going to go out, shoot it, and I'll be reporting back to you guys as soon as I have a full rundown on this piece. So stay tuned. Check back probably Monday, and I'll have an update for you guys. So if you have any questions initially for this, please feel free to write in the comments. I will answer it. As always, I do try to answer anything that pops up in there information-wise. So if there's anything specific you want me to talk about, work on when I'm shooting it, impressions, anything specific you want me to do to pass on if you're thinking about buying one of these, if you can find one. That's the other thing, is these are a little scarce right now. So anything like that between now and probably the weekend, let me know, and I'll do my best to accommodate. Other than that, look forward to doing a nice review, getting on the range with this thing, and hopefully it's a good runner. So check back. We'll talk to you guys later. Slop Joe out.